This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, commissioners. Good evening, and thank you for your patience. I'm only a few minutes late because, as staff said, I had to attend to an emergency matter on behalf of the agency, and I think you all have taught me well. I think I've found a way to find a solution, and that's what we're all about, finding solutions. So, Mr. Chairman, I think that we are ready to start this all virtual meeting, Board of Commissioners. We're on our annual plan, and if you are ready to proceed, I think we would then turn it over to the chairman. I think we would do that first and have the chairman make some any comments about. Excuse me. Yeah, I know it, but I'm gonna have the chairman make any comments, Mr. Chairman, and then after that, we would go to establishing a quorum. Mr. Chairman.
Good evening. Thank you, Steve. We understand for giving some of us some more opportunity to log on. I'm grateful that everyone was able to join us this evening. And we have some important business in front of us. We have good news and very important business to handle. So there's rather much without any further delay. I want to jump right on in. Hopefully, you've all had an opportunity to review the information that's set before us tonight. I believe it was delivered to each one of the commissioners on yesterday morning. It's a good read. So let's have a rigorous discussion and continue to look forward as we move forward. So with that being the case, I want to call this meeting to order as it already. Mr. Patrick, do we have a quorum, sir?
Yes, sir, you do. And just because this is virtual, I'm going to do a roll call just to make sure we have everyone. Commissioner Jackson, have you? Commissioner Parker, I see you online. Commissioner Elliott, Commissioner Hardiman, Commissioner Johnson, Lewis, and Commissioner McCray. Is Commissioner Pitchford or Brody online? Commissioner Pitchford or Brody? Okay, I don't see them and they're not coming online. So, yes, sir, you do have a quorum at this time.
All right, good enough. Moving along according to our agenda. Next on the agenda is our citizens comment period. My understanding is that we have one citizen who has signed up to speak this evening. Just a reminder, while you're stating your concern or whatever the case may be, we just ask that you utilize the same type of respect that you would ask for yourself. If you have anything that you want to point specifically to anyone, we will respectfully review your comments, and if they require appropriate action, it shall follow. With that being the case, I believe we have one person, and is that correct, Patrick? We have one person who signed up. I can't. Looking over at my screen, I don't recall her name or
Yes, sir.
she's present.
So Jackson.
Yes, we have one citizen that signed up to speak, and her name is Sylvia Davis.
Okay. Ms. Davis, are you present? Again, Ms. Sylvia Davis, this is the citizens comment period, and you are welcome to speak. You have 3 minutes. All right, one final call, Ms. Sylvia Davis, before we move on to our next item agenda. All right, well, Ms. Davis does not appear to be with us this evening. Next on our agenda is the resolution Resolution approving the Richmond Redevelopment Housing Authority annual plan. And again, hopefully we've all had an opportunity to go through the plan, become familiar with what it's put before us. We have a great task. This will carry us through 2030. And so if there are any questions or any discussion items, I think now is a great opportunity for that. If I'm correct, is that right, Patrick?
Before that, we'll do open it up to a motion in a second for approval, and then we can open up for discussion and questions. So is there a motion for approval of resolution 2026-25?
I make a motion that it be brought for a vote.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Harden. The floor is open for discussion and questions, and I know senior staff is here as well. Ms. Cole is prepared to answer any questions or be available for discussion.
Chair, whenever it is appropriate, I do have something to say on the annual plan.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Pritchard, you have the floor, ma'am.
The only thing that I have, can you hear me?
I can.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
because it was an echo. The only thing that I had some concerns about was the caregivers time that is being amended. I had some concerns about that because some caregivers, is there another way that caregivers can care for their loved ones that that are not on the lease, that need to stay with a loved one or whatever? And the last part about it, if someone to give whoever's not on the lease at least to after the funeral, if someone were to die, to move out if they were there, because sometimes it's children under the age of 18, and there are other circumstances that might be beyond the person's ability. And I'm not talking about people just coming and living with somebody. I'm a part to that, but I'm talking about caregivers and children under the age of 17 and under, put it like that.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm going to ask Vice President Ms. Smothers-Hargrove to speak to that. We made some clarification to try to make it a little bit clearer what we're trying to do, but we have no intention of not giving the children who are left in the unit the ability to have a caregiver identified, but we need to make sure that guardianship is established. Ms. Smothers-Hargrove.
Yes, good evening to the board. Yeah, we just wanted to put a little bit of wording and to try to put maybe just a little bit of parameters around when the head of household passes away. So we're allowing 60 days, but we are also putting wording in there that speaks to extenuating circumstances. We understand that sometimes it takes a little bit of time to gain custody or final custody of a minor child. But what we don't want to happen is that someone moves into the unit with no intent of becoming that child's legal guardian or legal, custodial guardianship, and they are residing in the unit and the assistance is being paid to that unit. The assistance is intended to follow the children of the deceased head of household. So we wanted to make sure that there's an intent for someone to gain either custody, become their guardian of those children. So it's starting out with 60 days, but if you are in communication with the team and it's like, I have a court date that is November 15th, we are going to work with those families for that, but just trying to at least outline a time frame, because previously it was not a time frame at all. It was left open-ended.
Thank you. I got that. And what about the caregivers who are caring legally, not just anybody just talk about I'm caring for somebody and they just living there and they ain't caring for the person, but legally, like if they got something from the city, because it's something the city can give you now as a legal caregiver.
Is
And
that for the ACOP on the public housing side, or are we mentioning on the voucher side?
I'm just talking about on the public housing. I don't have nothing. I don't even begin to even talk about any on the voucher because that's a landlord. That's more of a land use kind. I'm talking about public housing right as it is now.
Miss Miss Pitchford, this is Charles Williams, the VP in Public Housing, and I can speak on that. I think what you're referencing is the living aid,
Yes, and only the living aid.
right? So as far as the living aid is concerned, they were required to sign an addendum stating that they have no rights to the leased unit. The living aid only is approved to live in the unit while they are serving and care for the family member that requires the care. Upon vacating of the unit or death of the person that's receiving the care, the living aid must vacate the unit within 30 days. So they will have at least 30 days to vacate the unit, but they do not have any rights to the unit at all.
Yeah, I got that. I thought it was a language that they had to get out, that they only could stay there for 7. I'm glad you
No, they have
clarified.
they have 30 days before
Okay,
before
that's
they
more than enough to get out. Because they only supposed to be there to care the sick person anyway. But I mean, I just wanted to make sure that the living aid could stay there as long as the person who's being cared is alive and not on a ventilator. If they're on a ventilator, I can understand y'all giving them 30 days even with that, because they're not there. They're on a ventilator. But I just wanted to make sure that if they are not on the ventilator and they are caring for the person, legally caring for the person, that they won't be out, have to leave vacate the unit in 7 days or 10. That's all. Thank you. And I have no more questions.
Thank you,
Mr. Chair,
Sir.
question, can you all speak to some of the public comment that was received and, generally maybe some of the feedback or concerns or items that individuals expressed that they liked, or organizations, whether that's a tenant council or anyone else? Just, it could be high level or just kind of want to hear the feedback.
Sure.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I echo what Commissioner Elliott is saying also, because I'd like to find out if there are any red flag comments that were made in particular that we should have note of. But I echo what Commissioner Elliott is saying also. I'd like to hear some comments on that.
We're gonna
I think that's a
provide,
good idea.
and we're gonna provide those now.
Just to give a little context, and I think we did in the email that we sent to the board. During the extended comment period, we received approximately 200 comments. About 3/4 of them were not related to the annual plan. The balance of them were related to the annual plan and ranged from access to the portal. We actually got a couple of compliments on the plan. Staff was not typically used to getting those, but we're happy to hear it. Questions about homeless services, questions about access to documents versus going online, which I know that the board has been aware of that being an issue going back and forth. There were questions about just in general affordable housing in the city of Richmond, what we're doing with the Big Six. Questions. There were a couple of questions related to Creighton in particular. I will say that our legal advocate partners submitted a letter, as they typically do. And what we're doing now is we're reviewing them. And for any comment that came in that was very specific to someone's living situation and not related to the annual process. We forward those to the respective staff members to follow up on those. And for those issues that were commented on, that we did not make changes to the plan, there were not significant changes to the plan, we will do some level of contact with those persons who submitted comments.
Anyone have any other questions?
Yeah,
Mr. Elliott,
just a follow-up question. In the executive summary of the memorandum we received, it mentioned that there were some items that were changed in response to public comment. Can you just speak to those?
Sure can. One particular, we just spoke about it with Ms. Pitchford's question. We originally had a much shorter period of time for the living aides to exit the unit after the person that they were caring for was no longer there. It was actually less than 30 days initially. We've extended to 30 days based on comments we received from the RAB, the Resident Advisory Board, and that was early on in the drafting process. We also made changes as related to individuals who wanted to receive hard copy notices from us. We initially said that everything had to come through the portal. And the change that we had put in there or proposed was related to having to submit a reasonable accommodation request in order to get hard copies. We have removed that requirement. If an applicant, a resident, a voucher holder asks, then we will provide those documents in hard copy. We added some clarifying language, and that's what Ms. Smothers-Hargrove explained relative to caretakers in the voucher program. And needing to establish guardianship for minor children if they were left in the household. And finally, we had added some language relative to reasonable accommodation requests received after a voucher is terminated. Upon council review, we realized, and some comments that we received, we realized that we had already addressed that as part of the HUD-approved reasonable accommodation policy, which is located somewhere else in the document itself. And so we removed that from the policy proposal altogether. And we will be addressing those issues on a case-by-case basis as relates to our procedural protocols. So those are examples of some of the things that we changed.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Fellow commissioners, anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I do have another question. I have a question. Also in Exhibit B 1.2, was it addressed about the area of the dogs yet? Has that been addressed in here, or is it going to be addressed at some point in time? Policy for dogs.
Dogs.
We have a pet policy.
Yeah, so if I can speak to that. So we will be bringing to the board maybe next month, but no later than September. We have already in place a policy pretty comprehensive, but it needs amendment. What is that policy? Around the enjoyment of one's exterior, of their living space and interior. We will be bringing to the board, because we've been getting complaints, lots and lots of complaints around the following. Illegally parked cars that just sit around units, and they're saying there are lots of places around the big six, and we've identified where they are, and they're preventing what's called the quiet enjoyment legally of a residence environment. So we will be bringing to the board what we will be moving forward. My understanding, we have some sense of a towing policy in place, but we've been hearing from residents going back from when former Commissioner Shelton Patrice was here. But now we've been hearing more cries like, what are you doing? These illegal cars parked and not moved for 6 months to a year. Second, on dogs, you're right. Commissioner Parker, Vice Chair Parker, we're going to be also bringing forward some on dogs. We've been hearing that there's loose dogs around, Folks are not claiming them. I haven't heard anything about biting. We've been working with, I think, the animal dog or animal pet association here for the city. But that's a very serious issue. It's an issue that is cited, allocated for speaks to in the lease agreement. So there is an issue around dogs as well. We're also are going to be just looking at is beefing up our housekeeping policies, external and internal, in terms of, again, bringing something around what's called the quiet enjoyment, which all residents have a right to. So stay tuned on that. We want to do it together and not piecemeal. And so we're going to bring a revised policy back to the board, maybe next month, but no later than September.
Steve,
Thank you,
can I
Steve.
inject something into that as well?
Yes.
We do have a rules and regulations and tenant obligations for our families in public housing. And some of the things that it does address is what you mentioned, the pet policy, the parking and vehicle regulations, visitors and guests, and a good neighbor policy. So I think what's going to happen is we're going to get to a point where we're going to re-emphasize those rules and regulations so our residents are not violating those.
Mr. Williams,
And that trash.
are we putting a sticker or something on people's doors or something when we find out that they've got those dogs there, or how do we handling that? Having the dog warden, the city dog warden, to handle some of that, or what's going on with that?
Well, currently right now, let's say a resident, they have a pet and it's under the weight restriction. They'll have a sticker on their door with a little P so that the management staff and the maintenance staff will know about that. But if it's an illegal dog and it's reported, then we'll work with animal control to kind of get those dogs off the property. But we'll also work to do some lease enforcement so we can make sure that they don't bring the dogs back.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. And one of the things I note is that we're paying a group of people to come around and pick up trash in the communities, and they're having problems trying to pick up the trash because the dogs are running all over the place. So I think it's very effective in what you're mentioning now, and we certainly need to put our foot to the pedal as far as making some adjustments on this policy as far as these dogs are concerned. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my sentiments are with Commissioner Parker on that too, because I'm scared to even send my grandkids out, because some of the dogs are bigger than my grandchildren, and this trash got to be reinforced a little bit more, because I mean it's getting out of hand.
Does anyone else have any further comments? I must add that I absolutely agree, and I like the thought, Stephen, and we look forward to what your team brings back to us by way of changes. But more importantly, how do we execute how consistent we are so that the change sticks? It goes from paper to where we can realize wins there also. More localized wins so that our tenants, our residents feel like, we're just not out for the big camera. So look forward to seeing what you guys bring forth. Anyone else have any additional questions or comments? Floor is open.
Mr. Chairman, I'll jump back in. I have a question on the capital fund plan in detail for 2025, 2030. As I read through that package there, I noted that Blackwell Senior Colleges was not inclusive of that. Or did I miss that, Steve? Is that in there and I just didn't see it? They had Mosby and Gilpin and quite a few Faytals and others, but I didn't see the Blackwell portion in there. Is there some reason that wasn't in there?
Don, I don't think that we deliberately, they're not in it, but you want to speak to that, Don?
The Blackwell Senior Condos 1 and 2.
Table 12, is that table 12, home ownership, or that's home ownership activity, Blackwell? It's listed there, but I may be incorrect. Number of units affected, 111. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I think that Mike Kelly, I don't think Mike Kelly is on here. I see Mike Kelly there. Mike.
Yeah, those are, good evening, Commission. We're looking to make that as a part of our homeownership effort, which is separate from our capital program. That's why it's probably not identified specifically in the 5-year capital plan.
So it's not a part of the capital plan at this time.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
They're tied. All the work that we do would be tied to our homeownership program.
Okay. That answers my question. I was, I saw it everywhere else, but I just didn't see Blackwell in that package. And I was just wondering what it was, and I knew you had a good answer. Thank you so much, Mike.
Of course. Thank you, Commissioners.
Good question, Vice Chair. No other questions? Everything looks copacetic, guys? Nothing, no concerns, anything you can think of?
Mr. Jackson, if there's no questions, we can move for a vote if you feel ready.
All right, so be it.
All right,
Bill, did you have a question, Bill?
No, I don't have anything. I'm good.
Okay, all right. Patrick.
Being this is a virtual meeting, we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Jackson?
Aye.
Commissioner Pitchford?
Aye.
Commissioner Brody? Commissioner Brody? Okay, I'll come back. I see you're going off on and off mute. I'll come back. Commissioner Elliott?
Aye.
Commissioner Hardeman?
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Lewis? I think I saw the eye. I didn't hear you, but yes, sir. Commissioner McCray? Okay, let's see. And Commissioner Parker?
Aye.
And
yes.
One more time, Commissioner Brody? Okay. The ayes have it. Motion passed, and the annual plans are approved.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Chair Parker, I'm sorry, Chair Jackson, is that for you to give any concluding comments before the meeting is adjourned?
I don't have any specific comments to make. We've seen a lot of wins in within our culture, and I think that's to be expected. We've seen good change. We've got great momentum. My hats off to my colleagues, my fellow commissioners for enduring and fulfilling the obligation of our oath. So our collective mindset is what fuels this ship, and so I'm grateful to have your assistance. To the executive staff, Steve, you guys do an outstanding job. Continue to work, and that's all I have for this moment. Our sleeves are rolled up, so let's continue to push. We've got people counting on us, and that's all I have. This meeting is actually headed to closed session, so the regular portion of our meeting is adjourned.
Meeting is adjourned. It's not closed session, sir.
It's even better. See, we don't have a closed session tonight, but I will ask of you if you will do this. Sorry, I'm all clipboarded out. Thank you, Dector, for delivering the paperwork. Guys, read through. I'm sorry, I've got the wrong stack. Read through this MOU. Read through the the addendum that the mayor has put forth. We've got some new expectations, and I am I'm stoked. It's moving, and so, but be sure to read through it and have your questions ready so that we understand the path of progression as it pertains to the authority in which we're supposed to, maintain policy and make certain that we are in accordance with all that we have signed up for in this MOU. So I'm looking forward to that. Guys, have a great rest of your night.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chair, before we end, we are, the next full board meeting next week, the mayor's team and our team will be, there'll be discussion and Q&A at the next full board meeting next Wednesday. And the mayor's team will be there as they did before. And my core team that did the negotiations, we will be there to do and take any questions on the MOU that the Board of Commissioners had at that time.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you again. Thank you again. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.
Beautiful
Good night.
meeting.
Good night.